freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your, what do we want to call this? Season review, season-long award show, general nonsense, wherever else the winds might take us. Joining me for all that fun, Patrick McDonald is here. Hello, Patrick.
What's going on, guys? I thought you would call it the NFL preview show that many have been longing for. I don't think there are enough of those out there, so people are probably tuning in to us to give them all the knowledge for this upcoming NFL season.
The NFL, what is that? The N?
Not for long league, I believe.
Haven't heard of that league just yet. Greg DuCharme is here. Hi, Greg.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. I would call this the off-season special. I guess there's two off-season shows. One with kind of a wrap-up. This is the off-season show.
Is there a tournament next week?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
The
Seriously?
1 week off-season show.
Napa, baby.
The Max Invitational.
Yeah.
Wine
Next,
country.
this time next week, we'll basically be doing a couple more hours, a round one recap. Actually, I shouldn't say that because I'm not sure that's happening. But
I don't think we did last year.
yeah, I think I jumped the gun. I think I jumped the gun on that one.
Rick, don't throw that out there.
Sorry.
We don't need to be doing that.
My bad. For the fall schedule, we'll be taking over. But that's Kyle Porter. Hello, Kyle.
Hello, Rick. Yeah, I'm excited about football. My son is having some friends over tonight to watch Ravens Chiefs, and it's gonna be awesome. It's great. It's good for golf for getting out of the way of football.
So kind. I
Very
know.
big of them.
You know, let the underdog have a little bit of the shine every once in a while, and let this guy Patrick Mahomes throw the old pigskin around a little bit, see how he does, see how he goes about it.
Yeah,
I wrote
should
this.
really have a chance to see him play.
Yeah.
I wrote this for the Normal Sport newsletter that's going out on Friday, but I just wrote off the top of my head QB PGA Tour comps.
Ooh.
Just give me one that you think of. Just it doesn't even have to be good. Like this was just like I was thinking of them as fast as I could.
Josh Allen and Rory.
Oh,
Why?
Can't win the big ones.
See, I don't know enough about the quarterback.
that's questionable.
Can't win the big ones. Both highly talented, both MVP candidates year after year. I think Allen might get MVP this year. Little if you want to visit the counter, Rick. Yeah, I'll go with Allen and Rory McIlroy.
Okay.
CJ Stroud and Ludwig Oberg.
That sounds good to me.
Extremely talented, high flying rookies.
Okay, Kyle, give me a golfer, and then I'll give you the quarterback.
Scottie.
Oh, Mahomes, I guess.
Yeah.
Is he the best? Like, is Mahomes the best quarterback in football?
I had Scottie and this is cheating, but I had Brady.
That's what
Okay.
Mahomes would be like Tiger to me.
Mahomes to me is like I had Mahomes and Rory. It's a little.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on the second half of Mahomes' career, but I think like just the beginning, you're like, oh, this is crazy. Like this is nuts. We haven't seen anything like this.
Who is Russell Wilson?
Oh gosh. Really doing this to me, Rick?
Bryson? I don't know. I had Bryson and Caleb Williams actually. Just kind of weird, but like super effective and really good amateur careers. I had Spieth and Josh Allen, Patrick.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that. I would say Spieth if we're doing retired guys, little Brett Favre in them too.
I thought Spieth was retired.
Pure gunslinger.
Spieth and Brett Favre would that hits me in the right spot.
That's
yeah. You're like, who knows? They don't
Yeah.
even know.
He drops back. He addresses the ball. Who knows?
It's a fun game. It's a fun game.
That's pretty good. All right, listen, we got a little bit of news off the top here. The LIV versus PGA Tour match is happening. The match, the latest version of the match will be Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler taking on Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka mid-December in Las Vegas. We do not know where just yet. They have been playing at the Wynn the last few matches, but this is a little bit different, Greg. This is these guys actually maybe for the first time leaning into the rivalry.
Yes, a couple rivalries floating around. One of them on the same team in Brooks and Bryson. That's interesting. You got PGA Tour LIV, which is the obvious one, which I think is a big deal. It's apparent that the PGA Tour would have signed off on this, would have allowed for this to happen, which is, I think it could be a really good move. Maybe a sign that unity is a little closer than, maybe it's a potential reality at some point in the future. It's not necessarily a feud. I think the players, when you look at all four players, you couldn't really do much better. So I think that's really strong. I'm very curious as to what the atmosphere is like. Is this going to be a serious thing? Or these guys going to be playing hard? Or is it going to be, hey, we're all friends here. Let's have a little fun on camera, right? Let's have some forced trash talk. What is it going to be? Because it has a chance to be really cool. But I'm not sure if that's the direction it'll go.
It will be interesting because Bryson Patrick takes everything too seriously. So he will take this very, very seriously. He'll be out there grinding, whatever. He'll take it way too seriously. But I also think that there is some level of Rory and Scottie definitely not wanting to lose to these guys, right? You can't lose to a couple of LIV boys when you're Rory and then the number one player in the world. So I think that even if it doesn't start super competitive, I feel like, once somebody gets punched in the face and a hole is decided in one direction or another, I think the seriousness might get turned up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, all it will take is Bryson bringing up the U.S. Open, then Rory will bring up the Ryder Cup, then Brooks will bring up having 5 majors, and then Scottie will bring up probably nothing because he's the nicest human in the world. But
he's just gonna be like, "You guys are all so great. You guys are the best."
Yeah, stop being so silly, you guys. Stop it. Rory will bring up Scottie making more money than both Bryson and Brooks last year, even though their contracts, and so yeah, I think the talking points are there. I think generally I'm out on these matches. We talked about Pat Mahomes match, I don't know, 7 or 8 winner. Who could forget that one with Travis Kelce against Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? Can't believe I remembered all 4. Shame on me.
You could forget.
But if you want to do a little game within the game, if you want to put your tinfoil hat on and talk about this potentially moving the needle somewhat for LIV and PGA Tour, you look at who the 2 most vocal players on each side have been for wanting to get a deal done. On LIV Golf side, it has been Bryson DeChambeau. Every time he's in front of the mic, every time he's asked, he's like, we need to get a deal done for the fans. On the PGA Tour side, it has been Rory McIlroy. You have the coup d'etat Cantlays with Jordan Spieth and Tiger Woods in the board. Okay, you can't bring Spieth in because he's injured. You can't bring JT in because he's tied in with Spieth. You can't bring in Xander because guess what? He's tied in with Cantlay. So let's bring in Scottie Scheffler, who shares an agency with who? Bada bing, bada boom, Brooks Koepka as well. And so if you want to put the tinfoil hat on, which is firmly on my head right now, you could say maybe this was a little push in the right direction from these boys towards the decision makers.
I'm conflicted, KP. I want that to be true. I'm sure I'll be there tweeting, wow, look at Rory in the sphere. Doesn't he look so cute with, whatever. I hope you
don't tweet that.
No, I won't. I will enjoy this, but I kind of hate it. Right. I mean, the idea, the whole, and I tweeted this out, and it might be a cornball take. I don't know. But now everybody gets to make money off of how bad the professional game is. Right. It's ruined. It's fractured. It is in the worst place it has been. And guess what? The players are going to make the money. The networks are going to make the money. The sponsors are going to get their thing. And we are probably no closer to ever getting everybody back to it. It's the first time that I feel like the quote rivalry has been leveraged. And if the rivalry is being leveraged, then the disaster that is the professional game is being leveraged, which rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I probably agree with that. I saw something, maybe Bob Herrig on SI. I don't know what their website is anymore, but Bob's a great reporter. And he was talking about how this is a little like I wish I knew the mechanics of this a little bit better. But you know how when PGA Tour players go do stuff like this, they have to have like a waiver, or I don't know what the terminology is, but they have to basically get a blessing from the PGA Tour to go and do this. And it was written as if like this was a little bit of a what are you going to do? Stop me from the tour, like from the Scheffler and Rory side. But I'm like, I don't know how much of that is still in place, because we've got the TGL coming up, and the like that's been completely like. I guess my question to you guys: do you know if that like restriction is still in place?
Yes, it definitely is. Definitely. Well, I guess I shouldn't say definitely, but you absolutely have to get a release to go play in a competing event. Now, where the water gets a little gray for me is if there's no event alongside of it. Like if it's Monday night, what's that? Like as for TGL, I know the PGA Tour is involved with that. If it's Monday night, what's allowed, what isn't. So I don't know those details to be sure, Kyle, but I would be fairly certain that you have to have a release, and there's a blessing from the PGA Tour on this.
But the thing I was confused on is it seems like that hasn't really been like it was written as if like this was problematic, but JT and Spieth have been, I mean, Rory did it last year with Homa and all those guys. Like I don't know. I was confused by that whole thing.
I think the problem arises when it's with two LIV guys.
Gotcha.
Kind of.
Okay.
I believe players get 4 a year, because it came up during the Saudi international days when everyone would go over there, kind of pre-LIV. But with the TGL and the PGA Tour, I mean, that's the TGL is the PGA Tour, so you don't need those for that.
Rick, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
With the fracture of the game, if there was no unity and they never came together and never played together, but there were two separate entities that at one point competed against one another in a Ryder Cup style match, LIV against the PGA Tour, would that be enough to repair the professional game? Two sides, could a rivalry get started with something like that?
Maybe. I mean, maybe. I think for me, the problem is, it's all very fresh still, right? I mean, we lived in a world where all of these, where Rahm and Bryson and Brooks competed against Rory and Scottie, and like we lived in that world not that long ago, and that was really cool. And I think the last couple of years have shown us that it stinks when the guys get spread out. Now, I guess where you're going with this, and where I could see it being interesting is now the majors are even more important because everyone gets together again. So if they're say again, keep going. I want to hit that after you're done. Okay. So then I could see where a Ryder Cup style, let's just call it PGA Tour versus LIV Cup or whatever, where that brought everyone together and compete like that. I mean, that would be better than the match. I think it'd be more interesting. But for me as like a golf junkie, that would not be enough for me, but I think it would be enough for a lot of people.
What do you mean by enough?
Like, I just want everyone playing on the same tour.
Yeah.
I don't really care what tour it is. I don't care how we do it, where we do it, who funds it. I need it.
The pushback I have, and this is a little anecdotal, is I've been saying the exact same thing as you, Rick, of like, oh, the majors are the big winner. But I think if a niche, whatever you want to say, sport becomes more niche, I don't know that the majors are in a better place right now than they were 5 years ago. Now they're in a better place than the tours are. Oh,
sure.
But relative to themselves, I don't know that there's like more interest in pro golf now than there was in 2017. Maybe there is. I don't know. But I was talking to Solly of Knowing Up about this. I think it was a US Open Masters somewhere. And he was kind of pushing back on it. And he made a good point of like, you lose out on so many of the connective tissue between the majors, which is like the tour life, like what goes on between the Masters and the PGA, and between the PGA and the US Open, because people are just checked out of that. And that's where the anecdotal part comes in, of like my friends that kind of follow golf are like, I don't know, like get at me when it's the US Open. But if that's the only thing you're following, doesn't that kind of wane over time?
I see what you're saying. Like, so like the Masters 2021 relative to Masters 2024 is not in a better place, even if Masters 2024 is in a better spot than
the PGA Tour,
Travelers Championship 2024. Yeah, PGA Tour.
Right. Yeah. Maybe that's not true. I think that's the only, because I generally have agreed with you, and I still might, but that's the only pushback I would have about like the majors being the winners. I have this article. This Bob Herrig, SI.com. He said, it's instructive that McIlroy, once a staunch critic of LIV Golf, who has since mellowed in his stance and sought to get a deal done, confirmed the parameters of the competition to Golf Week's Eamon Lynch, leaving no room for conjecture about various sources and where the information might be coming from. As a PGA Tour member who signed over his media rights to the tour, just as Scheffler has also done, such an arrangement has to be approved by the tour, even if there's no conflicting event to worry about. That's unlikely to be a problem, but this appears to have been orchestrated to make sure there's no interference. It would look terrible now if the tour tried to prevent this from happening for some reason. So I think what he's getting at there is like, they're basically trying to get out ahead of like whether it's approved or not. Yeah. And I think the implication is what Patrick, or I forgot whether it was Patrick or Greg, saying like sort of trying to force both sides' hand of like kind of like, hey, we want to play together. We want to do this. You guys figure this the hell out.
Yeah. We're going to do this. Tell us we can't type of deal. And then see if that's
okay. Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Which is sick. I don't know that it moves. I'm with, I think Patrick said it. I don't know that it moves the needle in terms of like the overall negotiation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably doesn't.
This is how we will end this, because anytime the match comes up, I like to play the game of name all the matches. So
you guys are screwed.
This is number 10. So there are 9 previous matches. You don't have to go in order, but extra credit if you do. But okay. I'm going to need all the participants in all the matches.
Which order do you want to go? Chronological?
Whichever way you want. A big dog.
Right. Phil, Tiger at Shadow.
And Peyton.
Okay, Tiger and Phil at Shadow is 1.
Yes.
Where is Kyle going?
Tiger and Peyton Manning against was it Phil and Tom Brady?
That is number 2.
At Medalist, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 3, we're going to go with, I believe I'm going to be, number 3, Out in the Desert.
Yeah.
This was Phil Mickelson and Charles Barkley against Peyton Manning
Steph.
and Steph Curry.
Yeah.
That was on Thanksgiving, I believe, November 27th, 2020. That is correct. That was number 3.
Bryson and Aaron Rodgers, were they on the same team, Patrick?
I believe so.
Yes.
They were
Against
Phil and Tom Brady.
Phil and Tom Brady. That is
Brady.
the first.
Okay.
That is the first 4.
That was Montana?
That was Big Sky. That's correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Now it gets weird. Now it gets really weird.
Now it does get weird.
I believe 5 was just Bryson v. Brooks.
That's right. Brooks beat the crap out of Bryson 5-3 at the win.
Okay. And then I know 9 and I know 8.
Well, was
and I know 7. What is 6?
I was at 6. I don't know if that helps you guys.
Was Rory and
Rory, Tiger, Spieth, and JT at Pelican was 7.
yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
Was the
Man, what
Lexi Rose Zhang one? Was that one?
That's 9 with Max and Rory.
Okay.
So we're missing
8.
7.
8 is what I said at the top. Mahomes,
Kelsey.
Steph, and Clay.
Patrick,
Yeah.
that's the one you and I were at. No, we were at
No.
Netflix Cup.
We went to the Netflix Cup. 1 of 1. They're not renewing it. What a
Yeah.
shame.
So the only one we are missing.
Josh Allen one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. With Mahomes
Was Ricky involved?
against no, it was all quarterbacks against Brady and Rodgers.
There you go.
Wow.
Brady,
there?
Rodgers. I was at that. Yeah.
Star power.
Right.
The 4 quarterbacks and Rick. Yeah.
I was talking
got a lot
about
of
you.
play.
I wasn't talking about them.
It was the most dangerous golf thing. Everyone was standing 280 yards on the right. It was target practice. I could not believe. I was like, guys, you have got to move. You're standing in the worst possible place you could ever be right now. It was actually dangerous out there.
That's atrocious.
We've got awards. We've got questions from the listeners. We've got a lot to do. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear from our partners.
My first hot take of the year. When Sunday football isn't enough.
Dislike that take.
Great take.
That other pregame show will put you over the top.
I'm all in. Let's go viral here.
Every Sunday, all the insight you need on CBS Sports Network.
And we're back. Time to give out some awards here. Gentlemen, Josh has put together some great categories. Let's just calibrate a little bit here and discuss the year that was. It was the year of the that's Xander Schauffele and Scottie Scheffler. See what we did there? Between them, 3 major championships, 10 wins, and 13 top 5s. They finished first and second in total strokes gained by significant gaps each. This might have been the best like 2-man season that we have had in quite some time. I was trying to rack my brain for a couple of other, 2-man dominant years, and it's going to be tough to top this one.
I guess 17, J-Day and Spieth. They
5
both won
each.
5.
How many of those majors?
They won
3.
1, 2, 4.
No, they
One.
won 3.
3?
15.
17.
No, 17 they won 2.
Wait.
And
17 was
What am I talking about?
17 was 1.
17 was
2015.
15,
Sorry.
they both won 5 times, and they won 3 of the 4 majors.
Yes, that's correct. 2015, that's what I meant.
That's a good candidate. 3 majors, 10 times. That's the same thing Scottie and Xander did.
So who won the outlier major that season?
15.
Zach Johnson.
Oh,
Zach Johnson.
Sure.
should have been Spieth. Should have been all
Captain
4.
America.
That's a good one.
Speed.
There are
18 flag high, 102 yards away.
I love that. I love that Greg remembers that it was one of. He was on the first tee box. Greg.
He was, which, hey, you should admit it there, but it's in the fair way.
There are some really good stats for that you see that are like, oh, the two brothers that have the most career points in the NHL, and it's like Wayne Gretzky 4,000, Bob Gretzky 2 total 4,002. Like the best. That's like there's probably some Tiger Woods year like that where it's Tiger and just the guy who happened to be the second guy becomes the best 2-man year. But like that's what some of that makes me think of when I was looking through these years.
That's a good point.
Well, wasn't a great year for Tiger.
Which year?
04, because that's when VJ won 9 times. And
It was 0506 for Tiger.
Yeah, Tiger didn't win any majors.
I think if they did the voting first place, second place, third place, I think Scottie should basically get all the first place votes. Xander should get all the second place votes. Who is the third best golfer on tour this year?
It's a fabulous question.
I think it's pretty clearly
Bryson
Hideki Matsuyama. I'm going to go with Hideki. I'm going to roll with the win at the Genesis Invitational. I'm going to roll with the playoff victory, and I'm going to roll with the bronze medal.
So I would
that's a hell of a season
for the normal sport book. I always do like a all NBA team, like the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for that, it's Scottie, Xander, Bryson, Hideki, and then I don't know the 5th.
It's
Nick
Rory.
Probably who?
Rory. Right, Rory's 3rd in strokes gained total, wins the Wells Fargo, wins the Zurich.
Technically, right, 2 wins.
Should have won the U.S. Open.
He should have gotten 2 wins for the Zurich.
That
He
too.
might have.
Okay, here's a fun question. Who did they beat in that playoff?
Martin Trainer?
And
Yeah.
I do not remember this at all. I don't even remember a playoff.
Oh, was it? It was the big guy.
it wasn't much of one, Rick. It was not much of one.
Wasn't it the big guy that won in Puerto Rico a couple years ago?
Ryan
Yeah, Brim.
With the
That's
Shades.
who they played in the playoff.
I believe that's who it was.
This has completely.
Zach Blair were in the mix.
Yeah, Fishburne. I believe it was Brem.
It was Ramey, Chad Ramey.
Oh,
Who was Ryan Brem with? He was going off the final day. Popping off.
Was this your tournament of the year, Patrick?
Actually, I did have it written down.
we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Mark, he was with Homeless Hubs, Josh says.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
Chad.
He put
I mean
them all
that might have been one of the worst playoff performances since the Browns took on my Steelers a handful of years ago and beat them by 40.
Did you just black out that whole week, Rick?
I don't remember any of this. The thing I remember is Shane and Rory singing afterwards. That's when I think of that tournament. That's what I can't even remember a shot. I can't remember. I did not know it went to a playoff. I don't remember that at all. And I'm usually pretty good at that.
Down on 18. Nice little pitch shot. Rory hit some big shots.
I'm gonna have to go.
Rick, do you think you could name every winner from this year?
Oh man.
I think you could, Rick.
Which order would we do it in? Would you give me the tournament and I'd give you the winner, or would you give me the player and I would tell you what tournament?
No, tournament and then winner.
I'm sure I'd miss something, but I could probably get a lot of them. Yeah.
Who won the Sony?
Kirk. Oh no, that's the tournament champions. The week after was. Oh God, we're off to a horrible start.
Grayson Murray.
Murray. Then Dunlap won the American Express.
Mm-hmm.
Then where did we go? Torrey, or did we go to?
Yes. Then we go to the Cliffs of La Jolla,
which was
not Italian. Sorry.
Good call, Patrick.
But close.
Not
Close to
Dunlap.
Italy. You got to kind of just.
I don't think you can't do this, Rick.
I don't think I can do any of them.
From Italy, you go a little bit west, and you're there.
Oh,
Pavon.
yeah. Then okay, so then Wyndham won the Pebble.
Peb.
Yep.
Then where did we go?
Phoenix.
Then we go to Phoenix.
Taylor.
That was a good
He wanted
Live.
to play off over who?
The Seagull.
Yeah.
Charlie Hoffman.
Sneaky good playoff.
Apparently, I don't remember any playoffs. That's my. I don't remember any playoffs.
You after 72 holes, no matter what, you turn it off.
I'm out. Yeah.
That should have been this podcast. Is just naming tournaments and champions. Guys naming dudes.
What was after Phoenix?
Well, we go to
Riv.
Riv was Hideki.
Yeah.
62 on Sunday.
And then the Honda that is named something else now.
Yeah, the Cognizant.
Oh. Who won that?
Oh, I know
okay.
this one.
Yeah, there it is. I got it.
Who?
Monday
Okie
finish.
State.
Yeah, the Oklahoma State. What's his name?
Eckroat?
Can I
Eckert.
say it right?
Yeah. Eckert.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oklahoma State won.
Wait, didn't
Yeah.
didn't Jake Knapp win somewhere in there?
Mexico.
Mexico the week before.
Was that during Riv?
No,
No, that was
it
a
must have gone
standalone.
Riv, Mexico, Cognizant.
Okay.
And then this is when Scottie just starts winning.
and then Scottie
from
won the
here.
rest of them.
Yeah, right. That's basically the rest of them. Yeah. All right. So get on the record here with what your third best player. Kyle says.
Bryson.
Patrick says.
Hideki Matsuyama.
Greg says.
Rory McIlroy.
Wow. Rick says.
Break the tie. He's gonna say Hideki.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Hideki. Yeah, the Riv win, the playoff win, bunch of other top tens. I know it's not like I know the bronze wasn't a PGA thing, but I think it's Hideki. I'm fine with any of those.
That's probably the 5. That's probably like my all NBA team. Hideki was awesome. The 62 at Riv was awesome.
It was.
Yeah. That was vintage flag hunting.
I mean, I think he gained 10 strokes. I mean, it was something.
Oh.
It was sick.
Obscene. Yeah,
Yeah.
something obscene. And just like not out of nowhere, but just like the last hour of the broadcast, he just took over. He just stole it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Ding.
fabulous.
I remember that they showed, so remember he flagged one on like whatever 15 or whatever, and then he did it again on 16 or something, and
Yeah.
I thought it was a replay.
I did too.
I was like,
remember.
oh, they're showing the replay because it was so similar,
Yeah.
and he
Inside
stuffed them
of foot.
both. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome. Shout out Robert McIntyre, who won just as many times as Rory McIlroy did, just as many times as Xander Schauffele and Nick Dunlap, and had just one less top 10 than Rory McIlroy did.
Wow. The consistency though is just, it's not there. Morikawa had a great year too. Like you could talk me into some Morikawa stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a good year.
He had a fake win. He did it all.
He'll be on this list in 25.
Rookie of the year.
Dunlap.
Dunlap.
Yeah. Dunlap's mine.
I don't think it's even close, right? I can't even tell you who the next best rookie is.
Okay. I have Matthew Pavon as mine
Okay.
because Nick Dunlap was not a member of the PGA Tour during the American Express. So if he doesn't get the FedEx Cup points, then I don't think it should count towards Rookie of the Year voting. Matthew Pavon. A renaissance.
That was an insane statement right there.
Look, I'm just following the letter of the law, KP.
Sure. Yeah.
Matthew Pavon, late career resurgence here, coming from the DP World Tour, that pathway, winner at Torrey Pines, third at Pebble Beach, T12 at the Masters, final group Sunday at the U.S. Open as well. Finished top 5 there, and was T17 at the Tour Championship. So I'm giving the nod to the Frenchman, kinda, and Eric Cole over Ludwig's situation again.
Is Patrick's video messed up for you?
Patrick's video has been messed up the entire time.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat said, "Is he dialing in on AOL or something like that?"
No, he must have a striped shirt on again.
I am wearing stripes.
Yeah.
Take off that tinfoil hat. You're messing with your signal.
All right, give me a second, guys.
That was good.
So, according to this article on PGAtour.com that I found, here are kind of the short list. So Pavone, Dunlap, which we got. Jake Knapp was a winner this year, and he started off very well and then kind of faded as the year went on. And then the opposite of that, like Michael Thorbjornsen is on this list, but he got started in like June. And then the only guy that is in here that played all year would have been Alejandro Tosti.
Do they have Luke Clanton on there?
They do not.
There's a number of events you got to play. It's like 7 events.
Yeah, that's
why Ludwig was on the list last year.
Yeah, because he played a bunch. Yeah, I mean Dunlap's weird, right? Because he probably didn't have the consistency of Pavone. I'd have to look at Pavone's entire.
Pavone had a 4-month stretch where he finished dead last.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Dunlap did too. Dunlap was bad from February to
They have like
June.
3 combined wins and 10 top 5s and like 40 combined dead lasts.
Yeah. So you could talk me into Pavone, but I mean, I was looking at it yesterday. Dunlap started the year on OWGR.com. You can sort by where they started what place they were in to start 2024. He started the year like 4,150th. And now he's ranked ahead of the guy that started 12th, which was Tyrrell Hatton. And he's ranked ahead of the guy that started 15th, which is Jordan Spieth. So that's sick. Like, that's really, really impressive.
Okay. That's pretty good. I like that. Josh has given us some very interesting awards from here. So this one, Josh is titled The Most Pleasantly Surprising Year. This is someone who has exceeded their 2024 expectations the most. Who would be the short list here?
Well, I wrote this article for CBSSports.com. If you want me to just read it.
So, well, yeah, sure. Or give us the short list. Oh, Xander, because he gets the two major championship wins.
Morikawa.
Okay, you look great, Patrick.
Is it better?
Yes.
Wow.
Aaron Rai, Nick Dunlap, Akshay, Ludwig, Bryson, and Sahith.
The Sahith one is interesting.
Pleasantly surprised.
Pleasantly surprised.
Okay.
Mine was Aaron Rai.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Incredible stuff. Well, like he just doubled. He finished 68th on tour last year, right? Barely made the playoffs. Makes it to the Tour Championship this year. 3 top 10s last year, 6 this year, 10 missed cuts last year, 4 this year. He doubled up his earnings, and he played 7 less events because it's a shorter season. I mean, really, really impressive stuff, and won for the first time. Came in second. I think Aaron Rai took a massive step.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to go Akshay. I thought Akshay was really good this year. And, you know, I was looking 2 years ago, he's like a -1 strokes gained per round guy. That's not good. Last year, he was a 0, more or less, somewhere around there. And this year, he was a +1. And he won the Texas Open. Probably should have won Rocket Mortgage, or could have won, I guess. And I like that trajectory as what is he, Rick? 22, 23?
Oh, yeah. Is he even that old? He's 22.
Like 22.
Yeah. Like I think he pleasantly surprised and exceeded, like, you know, his expectations, especially based on kind of where he was at this time a year ago.
Mhm.
That's definitely in my top two. It might be my number one. Akshay. I also think Sahith is up there. I like what you did with, I always have trouble with like the Xanders, right? I understand that 2 major championships is a ridiculously rare occurrence. But if you only would have won 1 major, I feel like I'd be like, yeah, I expect Xander to compete in these, and eventually he's going to win one of them. So I have a hard time with these guys at the top of the board.
Yeah.
Because expectations are so high, and if they are still able to exceed them, I mean, if that's the case, Scottie Scheffler won 7 times.
Well, in like Ludwig, we knew Ludwig was good. Did we know he was number 4 in the world?
No.
Almost won the Master. I mean, he was really good this year.
Yeah, because in January, what did we know about him? We knew that he won the RSM. We knew that he was great at the Ryder Cup and that he was entering his first full year.
I think we were pretty high on Ludwig. Maybe not number 4 in the world, but top 15, I don't think would have surprised anybody.
Yeah. That's fair.
I have a couple vets. I went Billy Horschel after that bad season in 23, and then the main one was Adam Scott. Missed the playoffs last year, got off to a great start, kind of quiet in the middle, but I mean, he's arguably one of the hottest players in the world right now, with a couple runner-up finishes at the Scottish, which the drop heard around the world, obviously, with Bobby McIntyre, could have won there. The BMW Championship also, and then to go from missing the playoffs to finishing T4 at the Tour Championship, his 11th straight President's Cup appearance. That's one behind the record. Phil Mickelson has 12. I think Adam Scott's on the list for me.
Even with his ball speed going down, Patrick.
Ball speed went down, but one of his best off the tee seasons in a while.
Yeah, Patrick wrote a great article about increase and decreased ball speed this year, and Adam Scott was on the wrong list, but he played better. So,
yeah. Do you know who had one of the, I guess, biggest increases
Of ball speed?
I saw it, but
bigger name. No, he is on the President's Cup team, U.S.
Max Homa?
No.
Thigala?
Mm-mm. Talking
Wyndham.
like close to 5 miles per hour.
That's
Really?
a lot.
so much.
Mhm. He's got a lot in the tank.
Finau.
Tony Finau.
But did you
Guess
look?
what?
He got
It
a
was
new
his
driver.
worst- It was his worst off the tee season of his career too.
Didn't I thought Xander was up there too? Didn't he increase by like 3 or 4?
Yeah, Xander was a big one too.
5.
I mean,
think there was 5.
Was it 5?
18 to 123, I thought.
Ball, not club.
Oh, true that. Yeah, that'd be a really,
Isofire.
that'd be a really slow ball speed.
It would. It would be tough. That's,
123.
might be my dad's ball speed.
Unfortunately, the not so pleasantly surprising year, someone who underperformed relative to the 2024 expectations, must be discussed, gentlemen. Patrick, I know you're our positivity king, but who did you have on this list?
I went with another Patrick in Patrick Cantlay.
Ooh.
I think there's a number of routes you could go, but you look at his last 3 seasons, he's been a 2+ strokes gain type of guy. This year, 1.42. That is the worst of his career. Worst off the tee marks by a wide mark. Worst approach marks by a wide margin. Second worst putting season of his career as well. He took a step, I guess you could say that, in major championships, getting back in contention in one for the first time since the 2019 Masters, really only the second time ever. So you could draw that up as a positive. But I think as a whole, if you're Patrick Cantlay, someone who I regard as a player who's going to win a major championship in his career, as well-rounded as they come, especially over these last 3 seasons, I was extremely disappointed in him.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
It's interesting because there are so many guys that you think should win who didn't win, that if that was part of your criteria, you'd have a pretty strong list of players here. Greg, how did you kind of take this angle?
I went with Ricky Fowler.
Oh,
I mean, this is kind of incredible. I really just wanted to hear the drop. But if you look at what he did last year, he had a win, he had a second, he had 8 top 10s, only missed 2 cuts. He shot 62 at the US Open, finished tied 5th with a tough Sunday. He made the Tour Championship, made the Ryder Cup. This year, 0 top 10s, 2 top 25s, 108th in the FedEx Cup, 144th in strokes gained off the tee, 156th in strokes gained total. He played on the Ryder Cup team last year, 156th.
Okay, this might be my favorite answer. That's really bad.
I didn't even look how many are on the list. In strokes gained total, I have it right here. 164. Okay,
so there was only like 14 guys worse, or 10 guys worse.
He was a bottom 10 player.
One of them is a candidate for Rookie of the Year.
No way.
Yes.
Yikes.
Alejandro Tosti.
Oh.
But guys that are above Ricky Fowler, you got Garrick Higo, Carl Yuan, Alex Smalley, Vince Whaley, Joe Highsmith, Hayden Buckley, Justin Suh, Kevin Streelman, Luke List, Peter Malnati. Nice win. It was a nice win.
I would have forgotten that one when we got there.
Was it a playoff?
Tyler Duncan.
It was a Cam Young classic choke job.
Cam Young's like on my second tier of this list, just because like when are we going to get something from him?
I'm not even
disappointment.
But why? Like, what are your expectations?
I don't know. He's like arguably one of the most talented guys on tour. He drives it a mile. He's got soft hands. He's dialed with his wedges, and he just can't do anything.
Yeah.
This Ricky one's my favorite because you're right, Greg. He was winner, Tour Championship, Ryder Cup. All right, it's 2025. Here we go, Rick. Almost dead last.
Worst season of his career.
Yeah, which is tough to do after, what was it, 22?
Yeah, 20, basically 20 to 22, I think.
Yeah. Like 23 is the outlier, really.
Yeah.
Well, right. That's what it now seems to be. But he had 8 top 10s, right? I mean, he played a really consistent, a really good year last year.
Speaking of Ricky, I want to offer a mea culpa on behalf of Patrick, who chastised Ricky for not going to the Wyndham.
I have apologized.
Okay.
Yes, he did not go to the Wyndham because he was having a kid.
I'm going to stay in the boys club for mine and go with Max Homa. Just
good one.
It's a little bit of the same. It's not as extreme as Ricky, but the trajectory was up and to the right, up and to the right, up and to the right, and then boom, after the Masters, just nothing. I mean, I do not understand. Like, the more I know we talked on Tuesday, the more I sort of dug into it and looked at it, I don't understand how he's on this President's Cup team.
He was another piece of news about Max Homa. I haven't seen it online anywhere. I've only heard this from one place, from Colt Knost on his radio show, who is close with Max Homa. He and Mark Blackburn are no longer working together. Not sure if you guys heard that. I don't know when that happened, but that apparently has happened.
Weren't they together forever?
For a long time. Mark Blackburn and Max Homa together became, Max Homa got good under Mark Blackburn. At least 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I mean, he was, I was looking this up today. In the last 3 months, among eligible Americans for the President's Cup team, he ranked 63rd in strokes gained.
Yeah, but he was 12th on the points list.
Yeah, and look at how many of those points were accumulated in like March of 2023. I mean, he couldn't find I mean, he was so bad off the tee. Like the numbers they're abysmal, and it's a bummer because it kind of felt like after the Masters, Max has kind of solved his last thing, which is playing well at the majors, figuring out the majors, and then boom, right after that, he almost reverted to 2018 Max when he was bad. So I thought that was the one that was kind of a big bummer for me, even though he did contend at the Masters.
Yeah, bizarre stuff all around. Let's go to this one because I've got some other stuff I want to get to. Let's do tournament of the year. This you can do one major and one non-major if you want, just because I think it's more fun that way. But Patrick, we're going to start with you. What is the lasting image of 2024 that you'll think back? What tournament's that going to be?
This is tough. Is this the major division we're talking about?
Whichever one you want, or both.
I'll go non-major first. I think the tournament of the year was the Players Championship with Scottie, that final round, flawless, battling the neck injury. Yeah, getting massaged out. People forget the first round. We had a border dispute. I know it's an election year, but with Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth and Victor Hovland going at it as well. Rory McIlroy was a first-round leader there. That's kind of where Johnson Wagner became a legend, throwing it into the bank also. And then, obviously, the finish was unbelievable with Xander Schauffele, Wyndham Clark, Brian Harman all having a chance on the 72nd hole to match Scottie Scheffler. None of them do. Scottie becomes the first to go back-to-back in the 50th Players. I think that's my non-major tournament of the year.
Wyndham Clark, the double fist pump as his ball goes halfway down and comes out on 18. There's Scottie getting his neck worked on.
Yeah.
It looks like just a fan that got pulled out of the gallery.
Just got hit by a golf ball.
This is a really, really good one. I think this is top notch, Patrick. Well done.
You should have had to make that go against the US Open. Like we should have done Players and majors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Patrick, does that beat the US Open?
Oh man. I think it does for me. I would honestly, the majors are tough because the US Open, like golf wise, golf course, everything, it's exactly what you want. It was a 10 out of 10, but the PGA Championship threw in this little wrinkle called an arrest, which kind of made it a little bit more interesting in terms of tournament of the year. It had Hovland and Bryson and Xander there, so I think I'd go Players 1 over the US Open, and then US Open, then just PGA, and then Live Golf Adelaide probably.
I was a bigger fan of Greenbrier, but Adelaide would be fine. All right, Greg, where did you take this one?
I went with the Players number 1 overall.
Nice.
But I will go with I have 2 non-majors that I loved, and I have a hard time deciding between. That's the WM Phoenix Open with Nick Taylor and the Seagull Charlie Hoffman. They just made like 8 birdies in a row between the two of them coming down the stretch. I thought it was fantastic. And the other one was the Valero Texas Open with Akshay, who I was rooting for big time. And we finally got to see Denny McCarthy's putter. We got to see why he's the best putter in the world. And he kind of proved it. He just decided to make every putt and make birdie on every hole. And he had to. That's what he had to do to get into a playoff. So I love those 2 events as well.
And as far as normal sportery goes, that's Akshay injuring himself, fist pumping.
Oh yes,
and then
thought he threw his shoulder out,
having to go behind the scoreboard or whatever.
Oh, you do remember the playoff, Rick?
I do. So that he could get a treatment with his shirt off and not be embarrassed. And then Denny McCarthy laying the sod over one after making like 1,000 straight birdies in a row. He hits a 160-yard shot, 90 yards, and it's over.
Just trying to lay off.
That was awesome.
He hit his leg too far.
And from like a statistical, like those two were so far ahead of everybody else. It was a shame that either of them had to lose, but that was a very, very good one.
That's a great pick, Greg, because you also had Jordan Spieth gutter ball and Jordan Spieth hole-in-one in that tournament as well.
Oh,
and him saying he's driving the piss out of the golf ball too.
That was in the first round.
Yeah. So
there was some good coverage on that, right? The overhead map of like the property.
The gutter ball is so good.
Extraordinary because he didn't have to go that way. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll go over there.
I played on the roof. Then what? I get relief from that.
Did you guys see his quotes on, I guess it was Sirius XM with Colt Nost and Drew.
Yeah.
Did you see him?
What did he say?
I heard it. Yes.
Well, he basically said he almost quit the season at the John Deere. Like he was done. And then his wrist popped back into place and he was just, okay, let's go and see what happens. And he played the rest of the year. He said he first injured it, I think it was 2017, maybe 2018.
That's what he said. Yes.
Yeah. And then it got really bad the last year in May, the PGA. He said the doctors found stuff in there that they thought was there, but it wasn't showing up on the MRI, which is a good thing. Which didn't sound like a good thing, but basically, like,
yeah, it confirmed what they thought it was, even if they weren't able to see it. It doesn't sound good, but it is actually good.
Yes. And there was a couple other things. He was very like forthright about all of it. It was pretty interesting.
I mean, he's one of the best quotes out there, right? I mean, he's always pretty forthright.
Yeah, and he basically said, like, I've talked to other guys that have done this and in other sports, and it's like if you trust your rehab, then at some point one day it'll just feel like you never had the injury. And he said it when he was playing, he would almost like come out of iron shots because he was like, he didn't say this, but basically fearful of it getting stuck like in the ground.
He would just bail.
Yeah.
Was a word he used. Which kind of explains a lot.
Yeah, totally. My tournament of the year, US Open. The last 90 minutes was like the most tense I've ever felt a golf course. It was absolutely insane. And there were so many different ways that could have gone and legacies that were kind of in the balance there for 90 minutes. It was just, and then Bryson shot on 18 and Rory's missed putt on 6. It was unbelievable. Like the most tension ever in a great venue in a great week. My non-major was honestly like the one that I remember. I was off the Sunday that this happened, and I was sitting in my car at a friend's house. We were about to go in to have dinner, and I was watching on my phone, and I had to sit in the car and watch. It was Dunlap winning the American Express.
Historic, literally historic in the moment.
It was. I don't know that it was like the best tournament overall, but that ending was like really cool. It was really, really cool. And I would throw in Quail Hollow was pretty awesome that Sunday. Rory and Xander going at it, and Rory just smoked him. And that was when the volume got turned up on like, what is Xander doing? And then he wins 2 majors in like the next 2 months.
Yeah, he answered that pretty quickly. If it wasn't the ISCO, the 5-man playoff at the ISCO, where on 18 and in the playoff, those guys could not stop hitting it in the water was was awesome.
No one wanted to win.
Rico Hoey and Harry Hall.
There you go.
Zach Blair.
Blair.
2 more.
Cootie.
Pearson.
And Matthew
Blast.
Neesmith.
Yo, you dirty dogs. You dirty dog. Yes. If that was any other 5 names and it wasn't an alternate field event, that would have been sick. Yeah, they were all vomiting all over themselves coming in.
Was I during the Scottish?
Yeah, because it's the Barbasol.
Scottish was awesome too.
Yeah.
If not for the drop heard around the world. That was bad.
We opened up our inbox and things have been rolling in. We're going to have that conversation after a quick word from our partners.
It's a Service Academy triple header on CBS Sports Network.
And we're back. There's a lot here. And Josh, we can save some of this because I want to give at least some of these the due justice they deserve. So firstcutpodcast@gmail.com. They are people are sending in just amazing things. I got CC'd on a couple of them. It's outrageous. Patrick, Sam sent in 19 different episode ideas that have plots
19,
and titles 18. Of Patrick and Russell Henley. For example, an episode called Henley's Hair Care, Pat's secret tips for perfect golf hat hair, the best hair products recommended by Patrick to keep Russell's locks looking flawless under a golf hat. That's one episode.
That's Sam. I commend the effort. We appreciate the email. 19 episodes. That's a lot of creative energy used for that. There's another good one. Russ and Pat's Canadian capers. What really happened? ?
This is the one I actually need to see this for 30 for 30.
What happened in Canada? Those files are lost. Those files are lost, Rick. If those somehow get revealed to the world, I'll be off this podcast in no time.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll have a lot more work that I have to do.
There's some international scandal happening right before our eyes.
But to Sam, thank you. We appreciate that. 19 is insane. Maybe get outside a little bit.
Now, Tom is from the UK. He sent us a lot of questions, and some of them were basically like, why do you Americans, but in a nicer way. I don't understand this. Explain it. And I was like, yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. He had a couple of really cool ones in here. And Greg, I think this one, I'll start here. Do you ever think we'll see a women's Masters or a women's Players Championship?
More likely to see a women's Masters than a women's Players. Unless the PGA Tour and LPGA merge. I don't think you're going to see that. You also have 5 majors already on the LPGA Tour. But Augusta National and the women's and Augusta National has gotten a lot more progressive in these areas. And it wouldn't surprise me if one day there was a professional women's event at Augusta National. I'm not sure what kind of timeline that would be, but it wouldn't surprise me if we saw it one day.
And there's probably no chance we ever see it KP and it not be a major, right? I feel like if you're gonna have Augusta National as the venue, the LPGA would be having a 6th major.
Yeah, that would be weird. I was gonna say play the. I think they should play the Ryder Cup at TPC Sawgrass, but if not, play the Solheim Cup there. That'd be awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah, no, that's a good call. If it's a great match play team venue.
You get to 15, 16, 17, 18 there. It's nuts. It's crazy. Anything and maybe I actually don't change it. Just leave it how it is. And if they get to 18, they get to 18.
You don't want to do the what they do that at Quail, where it was 1 through 9 were the same. Yeah. Then it was 16, 17, 18, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah.
Something like that. To try to maximize those holes. This one's interesting. And Patrick, why is walking on a golf course not more popular in the United States? Carts seem to be the main choice, says Tom. He offers up a couple of reasons? Is it time? Is it weather? Is it just laziness?
Probably the last one. I think in the U.S., golf is more of a drinking activity, and I don't want to come across as insensitive here, but man, I've been walking around lately, and there's a lot of people who do need to be walking. If you're catching my drift.
No, we're not. What do you mean?
Catching my drift, Rick. And that's just
Canada or in the U.S.
That's just
Yeah,
us. You know,
good point.
we're lazy Americans. So I think that's why it's a drinking activity. It's a getaway activity. A lot of people, it's not so much like love the game-ish. It's more get out of the house, I would say, compared to where Tom's coming from. And then I'd also factor in a lot of fat people.
A lot of fat people.
It's also very hot.
It's also very hot.
Different climate than the UK.
I also agree. I also agree that it is. I think they view it as more, this sounds weird, like more of a sport, more of like an exercise opportunity, and we view it more as like a kind of getaway. Yeah, you can drink, you can smoke your cigars, you can do that. The other thing, Greg, is a lot of our golf courses were created after the invention of the golf cart already, and the tee boxes in locations to the greens are not close to one another. And maybe that's because they knew, hey, you can have a golf cart and people like golf carts. So it's kind of this cycle of we use golf carts, so they create courses that require carts or are not walkable. And it just continues to perpetuate over and over again.
Yeah, there's a couple things in the business side of it here. One of them, which you just mentioned, wisely so, is the business. And when you can have a golf course and a real estate development together, it's a lot more lucrative than just having a pure golf course. In fact, a lot of golf courses that do well sell for real estate, especially if it's a single owner, because it's oftentimes a lot more money and a lot easier. The other aspect would be for the golf shops, for the golf clubs. It seems like it's very corporate here, and it's a great revenue opportunity to have carts. So you set up paths, you might mandate carts for pace of play, but it's a business opportunity more so than a caddy program. And I think that's probably the leading reason, if you really go back, the business side of it is probably what drives it.
You're right. They get everybody to pay the $40 in a cart fee every single time. Right. Just another revenue stream.
Yep.
Basically.
Classic America.
Capitalism, baby. At it again. I'm gonna stop there. There's a lot more. I don't think we need to push 90 minutes here, but I will open this up. Listen, it's the start of football season. We've been enjoying our very short off season. There's been a little bit going on. Anything else that you guys want to discuss before we get back to Napa next week?
Shot of the year.
Bryson.
I thought Xander's pitch, Rick and I were sitting there on 18 at Valhalla, was sick.
You know what I also liked was Scottie on 4 at the Players.
4.
He
hold out.
Yeah. That was huge.
Other shots.
You have Hideki on 15 and 16. You got to choose one. I guess that's tough.
That's the problem. Yeah. There's got to be something. See,
That's Scottie's eagle on 13 at the Masters on, was it Saturday? That's one I'll remember. That putt.
Huge.
He was kind of flailing a little bit. I think he had bogeyed or doubled 11.
Bad double on 10.
10? Okay.
He went left of that tuck left pin.
Yeah. That's right. He went like long, right?
Yeah, very bad. Uncharacteristic.
And then it was kind of like, oh, Scottie's on the ropes. Boom. Like, it's over.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Rick, do you remember any shots?
I guess I don't.
The Denny McCarthy wedge is the shot of the year.
I remember that. I was trying to think of like what I was trying to think. I always look at those graphs, like the Major League Baseball, like the win probabilities as the game's going on, and you'll see like bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, they're down to like 1% or whatever, and the walk off home run it jumps it up to. I was trying to think like what shot would have changed a tournament's like win probability. It could be a good shot or a bad shot, but that's what I was trying to think about when I was
Josh
in there.
Producer Josh has a good one when Xander hit that shot into 11 at Troon, because it was a ball that it was kind of left, and which was the good angle, but it could have gone into like the brush, the trees, whatever that was, and it stayed out, and then he hits it to whatever 8 feet and makes it. That was
awesome. What about worst shot of the year?
Scottie shanking one a couple days ago.
He had a shank at Harbor Town too.
He shanked like 4 balls this year, I think.
He does it sometimes. We had a bad shot. Ben Coles.
Yeah.
I was really pulling for him. He had a bad chip shot against Taylor Pendrith. That was
at TFC Craig Ranch.
Yeah.
That's like watching a car crash.
That was tough.
But Josh has it. It's Rory's putt on 16. That's the worst shot of the year.
That swung a lot. A lot of win probability.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll give you Patrick. All right, Patrick, I'll give you $5 if in the next 5 seconds you tell me who won the Myrtle Beach Classic.
Oh, that's
5,
easy. Chris Goddard.
4. Oh my God.
Boy, come on. Talking to the Prince of Myrtle.
Oh my God.
Come on, Rick.
Okay. All right. Hold on. I want double or nothing on in 5 seconds.
I'm not going to. That's the only alternate one I know.
Who won
Do Puerto Rico.
the Puerto Rico Open?
Oh
3,
my God.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Matt Wallace. I have no idea.
Bryce Garnett.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
That was a playoff, I think. Maybe
Bryce
not.
Garnett. Anything is possible.
Would you have known the 3M Open? Because that's the one I was thinking about giving you.
Yeah, dude. That was a. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Johnny Vegas.
Johnny Vegas.
But that was the birth of Max Drazerman, the Max who belongs on the President's Cup.
Oh boy. All right. Anything else?
Per KP's
Well, don't
numbers.
put that on me.
For KP's numbers.
Yeah.
We trust the data here.
Yeah. Unless it's Scottie, and then you trust the eyes.
Exactly.
Next week.
Bryce Garnett.
How about that? Next week, Monday, DFS preview for the Pro Core Championship. Sure. Max Homa's in the field.
Parkour.
We'll see who else. Tuesday, mega preview pod. All right. Sunday recap episode.
We are so back.
We're back
What an
on the
off
fall
season,
schedule.
boys.
That's right. Hope you enjoyed your week. Hope you got rest and relaxation. But we are right back at it again on Monday. Big thanks to producer Josh, does all the hard work behind the scenes. And you can reach Josh and air all your grievances at firstcutpodcast@gmail.com. Patrick McDonald at PMcDonaldCBS, Greg DuCharme at The Real GFD, Kyle Porter at Kyle Porter CBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.